So I'm getting ready to go to work here this morning. Wanted to just say a couple of words about this idea of unity that is everywhere, being shoved down our throats. The Bible tells us as Christians to come out from among them, to be in the world but not of the world. What I keep noticing about news reports and people just talking on the street and in church or whatever, is this idea that we are all Americans and that this is somehow a sacred cow that cannot be slaughtered. I'm a Christian first, a father second, husband second actually, father third, brother, son, friend, employer, service provider. There are very few times in my life that I say, oh, hey, I'm an American. That is mostly, the occurrences of that are mostly when I'm in foreign countries, trying to explain our ways to someone who is, baffled by the things they see on the news occurring in our country, especially Southeast Asia. My wife is from Southeast Asia, so we spent some time over there, Singapore, and Philippines, Tokyo, and it's funny some of the questions that I field from those people, and they inspire me to think and ask the question, okay, well, why do we do some of the things that we do? But that's not my point. My point is this, is that the serpent is the most subtle beast of the field, and that what I see on a daily basis is the left putting forth an agenda that is so patently ridiculous, so absurd on its face, that when the right, the so-called opposition party, comes in with their take on things, that it seems sensical by comparison. And over again, what you're going to hear is we need to all come together as Americans. We need to do this as Americans. We need to be one people and one nation under God. The question is, which God? From what I can see, the God of this country is Mammon, and we know what the Bible says, that we can't serve God and Mammon. So I'm not a person that says, hey, don't have money, that money is evil. The love of money is the root of all evil, but money itself is not evil. We have to be in the world but not of the world. We have to feed our families and so on and so forth. That I'm not even against people being wealthy. I'm against people worshiping money. And I'm also against this notion that we all serve the same God, because we don't. As Americans, one of the things that sets America apart is that we have religious tolerance. I can tolerate anybody. As a matter of fact, I'm commanded to be tolerant and to suffer even unto death. As Christians, we don't convert at sword point. That's not what we do. We don't take up arms to defend ourselves. We are sheep to the slaughter. I would prefer to enter into heaven with gunshot wounds than I would to enter into hell carrying a gun. I wasn't always that way. I served time for a violent crime. I was a person that believed wholeheartedly in defending oneself and one's goods, even if I was wrong, even if it was your goods I had taken and then was defending. So I didn't always feel that way, but I can't help but watching what's going on in our country and thinking to myself that this is insidious. Satan doesn't care who you worship as long as it's not Jesus, as long as it's not the true God. And then you've even got people running around out there now saying that Jesus is Antichrist. I was talking to a brother via Facebook yesterday who just broke my heart to see him fall into this trap of thinking there's some secret code that one needs to be saved, and it's not rocket science. It's really not. You read the book. If you believe the book, you're saved. If you don't believe the book, then you read it again. and pray for mercy. But everyone's not going to be saved. The Bible's clear about that. Jesus is clear about that. There are vessels, created for dishonor. I'm not going to go into any deep doctrinal discussions in these little videos I'm putting up, but it's so difficult to convey tone. I get that a lot. You sound arrogant or hurtful with the words to you, divisive. Well, we are a people set apart. Christians are to be set apart. Doesn't mean we don't judge others. We love them. The cross that you must carry is sacrificial love. That's what Jesus did. He said, I'm going to love you even though you don't love me. And that's what we're called to do. We're called to love people that the world says are unlovable. But really, they're just you and me. They're the same as you and me. But for the grace of God, we would be exactly where they are. We would be the homosexual. We would be the transgender person. Or we would be, in the case of myself, I was a drug addict and a violent criminal. And I would still be that if God hadn't pulled me out of the gutter and loved me and changed me. He changed me. I didn't change me. He changed me. So as Christians, we need to remember that it's not us. There's nothing good about us. We're the same as everyone else, except that God has changed us. He has pulled us out of the muck and the mire. We need to remember that, and also remember that we're not Americans. We're Christians. I don't care what country you're from. I don't want to see you go to hell. I don't care what country you're from. I don't want to see you starve. I don't want to see you raped or beaten or hurt in any kind of way. That's not, I don't think it's important what country you're from. Certainly not important to God. Because He died for everyone. Jesus came and died for everyone. It's not about social injustice. It's about sin. Sin is what is wrong with the world. And that's not going to be fixed until Christ returns and takes over this kingdom. The victory's already won. It's not like we're waiting to see what happens and who's going to win. It's already done. It's this idea of waiting to see is an illusion that we experience as human beings. It's already done. He was slain before the foundation of the world. He is the Alpha and the Omega, the end from the beginning. I mean, it's all in there. It's all in there. It's why the Bible can work, as prophecy. It's because it's already done. But like I say, we don't need to focus on all being one under an American flag. As Christians, I'm not speaking to lost people. You're not going to understand where I'm coming from. Of course, you're going to identify with some other group and some other worldview. But as a Christian, as a Bible-believing Christian, I just want to stress to my brothers and sisters, let's not tear one another down. Let's not try to conform to the world. We love the world, we can't love God. Let's not try to conform to the world. Not everyone's going to be a Christian. But if you believe in Jesus, then you be a Christian and love each other. Even if you're not being loved in return, even if you're being despitefully used, continue to love. Do not become weary of well-doing. And don't believe the lies. Don't believe the lies that America is this great country, one nation under God. Name that God. I could buy that if the line read one nation under Jesus Christ or one nation under Yeshua of Nazareth, then I would be all for that. But God is a title, not a name. Allah is a God. Shiva's a God. All the fallen angels were gods. So, when people say that, that we're a nation under God, what God are they talking about? Because Jesus said either you gather with me or you scatter abroad. So there's not like a whole lot of gray area. It's either you are a Christian or you are damned. It's a very exclusivist claim that Jesus makes. I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. That's an exclusivist claim, and it's not. I don't shy away from that. It is what it is. Just like a Muslim that straps a bomb to his back and blows up a bus is not. He's not being radical or extreme. He's being a Muslim. And Christians who live in that exclusivist claim of Christ's sole sonship are not being radical. They're just being Christians. They're just telling you the truth as what the Bible lays it out for us. Same with the LGBTQ or whatever sin is being preached against from the pulpit. We're preaching against the sin, not the sinner. I don't know who's going to be saved. I don't know who God is going to change and open their eyes. I'm going to preach the truth to everyone and love everyone, whether they're gay or a murderer or whatever, a pedophile, whatever. When I was in prison, I ministered to pedophiles and to rapists and to murderers and all sorts of different people, because it wasn't for me to choose who could be saved. That's God's job. He told me to go out and preach His word and to love other people, to love Him and to love others. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's what I suggest that we all do as Christians. Is to love one another, and tolerate one another, and to be long-suffering and meek, and all the fruit of the Spirit. Just go over there in Galatians and look at what the fruit of the Spirit is, and see if we can emulate that. If we can try to follow in that, would be great. I love you. Thank you. Have a good day.